Dear learner, welcome to the indice question from the year 1998. From the year 1998. It says that given that P is equals to 3y, 3 raised to power y, express the equation 3 raised to power 2y minus 1 plus 2 times 3 raised to power y minus 1 is equals to 1 in terms of P, a 1 mark. Hence, go on and find the value of y in the equation, 3 marks, from the year 1998. Simple, 4 marks. Let us see. We have our equation as 3 to power 2y minus 1 plus 2 times 3 raised to power y minus 1 is equals to 1. The first part of the question says that express the equation using P, and the P is said to be 3 to power y. Before we even continue, on my first video, I gave a basic that connects powers with the negatives and positives and where they were derived from. For example, the 3 raised to power 2y minus 1 was derived from, when you see an addition or a subtraction on the powers, means that these numbers shared the same base. What do I mean? 3 to power 2y minus 1 is the same as 3 to power 2y. Now the minus is a division. Okay? 3 to power 1. Good. What about the 3 to power y minus 1? It simply now becomes 3 to power y divided by 3 to power 1. The division is represented by the subtraction on the power. Good. One more thing. We have a 3 to power y and a 3 to power 2y. What is the 3 to power 2y so that we can avoid confusion? 3 to power 2y will be, it was gotten 2y, means that a y was added to a y. If addition was involved, that means that on the background it was multiplication. This means that it is 3 to power y times 3 to power y, so that the multiplication can lead to the addition of the unknowns. 3 to power y times 3 to power y. It is the same as 3 raised to power, because it was a multiplication. You simply add the powers. Y plus y. 1 mango plus 1 mango, you have 2 mangoes. Now our mangoes are replaced by y. It becomes 2y. Good. So, if I choose again, wherever there is a 3 to power 2y, to put it this way, it will be simpler for us. So wherever we have a 3 to power 2y, we will replace it with 3 to power y times 3 to power y. Good. Now, let us continue and write our expression in a simpler format. 3 to power 2y minus 1 becomes our 3 to power 2y divided by 3 to power 1, whereby we said our 3 to power 2y is 3 to power y multiplied by 3 to power y, then divided by 3 to power 1. That is part 1, okay? Plus 2 times the 3 to power y minus 1 was elaborated further and said to be 3 to power y divided by 3 to power 1 gives us a 1. Now in our equation, we have 3 to power y's. And then we have been told to use P to represent 3 to power y. Look at how the first mark is coming in a very simpler format. The 3 to power y will simply be P. So 3 to power y, 1p, P times P divided by 3 to power 1, which is the same as 3, plus 2 times P divided by 3. 3 to power 1, once you key in 3 to power 1 in your calculator, you'll find that any number raised to power 1 is the number. So 3 to power 1 is the same as 3. Good. Is equals to 1. There are some multiplications, so we can choose to leave it in the simplest way possible. Simplest way possible. What is P times P? It becomes 2P divided by 3 plus P times P. A number times it itself becomes the number squared. So here was a mistake, careless mistake, one of the diseases that make students fail to score in maths. So P times P becomes P squared divided by 3 plus 2 times P becomes 2P divided by 3 gives us a total of 1. We have our equation expressed in terms of P. 1 mark with us. I want us go on and finalize the question. I want us go on and finalize. I don't know whether the further end will tackle everything, but I want us go on and finalize the question without even deleting the first part. Now we have gotten that in terms of P, this thing has become P squared divided by 3 plus 2P divided by 3 is equals to 1. Is equals to 1. When you find such kind of a question, don't panic. Remember, we used P to express a 3 to power something. Now, always put the division to appear as a denominator. We know division can be written as over. So this is the same as P squared divided by 3. We can decide to put it like this. Good. Plus 2P divided by 3 is equals to 1. What is 1 as a fraction? 1 over 1. One rule on fractions. When you see fractions and there is an equal sign, you are allowed to multiply with their LCMs. What is the LCM of 3 and 1? It simply takes us to 3. So, by 3, multiply it part by 3, by 3. So, this simply becomes P squared plus 2P is equals to 1 times 3, 3. A number times 1 is the number. This is a quadratic equation if we take P to the other side. If we take 3 to the other side. So this becomes P squared plus 2P minus 3. This a number without a sign is a positive number. So positive 3, once it crosses the equal sign, it becomes negative 3. Is equivalent to 0. 0. So we have a part A, part B, and a part C. Good. Give me those two numbers X and Y. When I multiply them, I get what I get after multiplying part A and part C. When dealing with this kind of equations that are dealing with the quadratic equations, always remember that sign of a number always occur before the number. So we want our two numbers, when we multiply them, we get what we get after multiplying part A and part C. Not just the unknowns, the numbers. What is the number before P squared? It is simply 1. The number on C becomes negative 3. So I want two numbers, when I multiply, I get negative 3. And again, the two numbers, when I add them, I get part B, which is positive 2. I said when you get such kind of questions, there is no need for you to panic. Just know that you can easily tackle this question. How? Which are the multiples of 3? It is simply 3 and 1. When I multiply 3 and 1, I'll get 3. But again, we now need to play well with the signs to get which sign really gives us, or which of the two signs, when we add or even subtract, get positive 2. If we pick positive 3 and positive 1, we will get positive 4. If we pick minus 3 and minus 1, we will get minus 4. So pluses on the signs on the two numbers and minuses on the two numbers is wrong. Let us try the positive and the negative on each of the numbers. Plus 3 minus 1 and minus 3 plus 1. Which of them can be giving us positive 2? Plus 3 minus 1. I have 3 bob and I pay a date of 1 bob. I remain with niko na pesa shilingi 3 cash. And then I owe somebody 1 bob. If I clear my debt, I remain with 2 bob. So 2 bob, we will put it as a plus 2. If we clear 2 bob, we'll get it as a plus 2. Then what is minus 3 plus 1? Kona deni ya shilingi 3 na nalipa 1. Nabaki na deni pati ya 2. So in our equation we wanted positive 2. We wanted positive 2. So we can pick our numbers to be plus 3 minus 1. These are the only 2 numbers that give us B, which is plus 2. That means instead of the plus 2, we can now choose to use plus 3 minus 1 to represent the 2. What is our new equation? P squared. Instead of plus 2p, we'll now be doing plus 3p minus p minus 3 is equals to 0. I think we are going back to the starting point because that one has gotten to the end and we need to see these things so clearly. Don't want to erase the first part because it is the last part because it is somehow linked to the final part. Now we have an equation that says p squared plus 3p minus p minus 3 gives us a 0. Generate expressions from every 2. What does these 2 share? They are the knowns. P squared and p share p. But p squared has no number before it. So the only thing they share, the 2 numbers share only p. When we pick p squared divided by p, we will get a p. Plus 3p divided by p, we get a 3. I said the third sign always repeat itself down there. Any number without a sign is a positive number. 1, 2, 3. Minus. What does p and 3 share? P is an unknown, 3 is a number. So you can choose to say that they share 1. 1 will not affect anything. Into p. Always be keen when it comes to signs. Minus times minus. It gives us a plus 3. Is equals to 0. Otherwise, if you get something when the expression in the brackets do not share common sign, you are very wrong. Would rather stop the calculation. Okay, what is outside the brackets? You can put it in its own bracket. P minus 1 into p plus 3 gives us a 0. Pick each of the expressions is equals to 0 to get the two values of to get the 2 values of p. What do I mean? P minus 1 is equals to 0. When you pick 1 to the other side, p simply becomes 1. And again, p plus 3 is equals to 0. So, P is equals to -3. But don't forget something, learner. P was 3 to power y. So we have the two values of P. We can choose to replace again now our P with 3 to power y because we are even finding the value of. Thank God they have said the value of y, meaning it is only one value. I'll show you why we have two answers and the value will be 1. I'll show you why we have two answers and the value will be 1. Okay. P is equals to 1 is the same as 3 to power y is equals to 1. 3 to power y is equals to 1. Which number can we express to power what to give us 1? Which number with the base 3 to power what can give us 1? Any number raised to power 0 is 1. That's a rule in maths. So, what gives us the number? They have used the base 3. We want them to be equal. So, we'll use 3 to power 0. It is the same as 1. Why have we used 3? Because our P has a 3. If it was 9 to power z, we could say 9 is raised to power 0 so that both sides have the same number. When the bases are equal, when the bases share the same number and they be separated by an equal sign, it means that the powers are equal. So the value of y becomes 0. What about on the other side? P, which is 3 to power y, becomes -3. -3 can never be expressed as a power because it is a negative. And a negative cannot be expressed as a power. So that nullifies this value. The ends just like that. What is our answer for y? Y becomes 0. How many marks, learner? 4. Just playing with the numbers. Goodbye. Continue revising. Careless mistakes are no go zone. Always be keen, clear work, and always believe that you can, even when things seem so impossible. Let us meet in our next example.